Plastic extrusion is a very unique space from the ERP lenses. So, which are the top 10 plastic extrusion ERP systems in 2024? That's what we are going to discuss in this video. So, let's dive in.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our number one priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta. I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation consulting firm. We help our clients with digital transformation strategy, ERP selection, change management, as well as implementation. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is going to be top 10 plastic extrusion ERP systems in 2024. Before we look at the list, let's look at what is plastic extrusion and how do we define this. So this is going to be any of the companies or the business models that are going to be involved in that plastic extrusion space, whether you are going to be manufacturers, suppliers, anybody and everybody that is going to be part of this ecosystem. This list is for them. Then the criteria that we use to compile this list is product share, acquisition strategy, focused on plastic extrusion category, then product roadmap, community, ecosystem, win rate, technology strategy, as well as investors. All of those factors we combine to compile this list. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is Plex. And Plex is ideal for plastic extrusion companies. They are going to be in Ford or Toyota ecosystem in general. And Plex takes very MES first approach. So if you're going to be very busy on your shop floor, you care for those industry 4.0 scenarios, that's when your Plex is going to be a better fit in general. So any of the plastic suppliers that are going to be in automotive ecosystem, they are probably going to like Plex a lot. The other strengths that we are looking at from the Plex perspective is stronger automotive last mile capabilities that you are going to have pre-baked, pre-built. You are going to have a lot more street capabilities that you would acquire from third-party vendors. With the other solutions, that is not going to be a problem with Plex, and the technology is very cloud native as well. So that's going to be a huge plus for Plex. The limitations that you're looking at from the Plex perspective is the core plastic-centric scheduling, costing, etc. And there are unique layers in the plastic business model. And some of the products that are going to incorporate that, they were very well adopted in the plastic space just because they covered all of those plastic-centric processes. In general, in plastic-centric processes, you are going to find a lot of complications, especially from the process manufacturing space. You are going to have a lot more issues that you are going to have with the process manufacturing. That is going to be your formulation, recipe. You might not have challenges such as your catch rate, but you are going to have other issues that you generally find in the process manufacturing space. But some of their transactions might be slightly more discrete in nature. Some of those production lines may be that depending upon the industries that you are targeting. So you would require all of those capabilities. So those plastic-centric processes might not be as detailed, as rich, but the other processes are will be tailored and flavored as part of Plex. The other limitations that you're looking at from the Plex perspective is not as scalable for diverse business models. So if you are going to be anything outside automotive, for that, you might run into challenges. Even though they claim that they have mixed mode manufacturing, each of those modes might not be as detailed. So depending upon how complex your business model is, you might run into challenges. And Plex is not as well adopted among your plastic extrusion companies. They have some logos, but it's not as much as some of the other systems that we have on this list. So that's number 10. Now, number 9 on our list is Syspro. And Syspro is ideal for plastic extrusion companies that might be outgrowing QuickBooks at this point of time. They are looking for a smaller system, and they are looking for end-to-end traceability within a country. They are looking for a solution that is going to have your discrete plus process manufacturing as part of the same solution for those complex business models. So the strength that you are looking at from the Syspro perspective is let's say if you are your distribution plus manufacturing, some of the systems that we have on this list, they are designed for pure play manufacturing. So if you are going to have, let's say, 80% manufacturing, 20% distribution, that's when your SysPro is going to be a great fit. It combines both of those planning processes, distribution plus manufacturing. The inventory layers are going to be another challenge in the plastic space. For the most part, they are going to have a lot of different attributes that are going to be part of the product, and those attributes are going to be part of your supply chain planning, just because these companies are going to be very heavy in supply chain as well. And then finally, you are going to have all of those inventory layers as part of your scheduling planning as well. So some of the systems that we have on this list might not do as well just because they don't have those attributes that are going to go through the entire process end to end. That's when your SysPro might be a great fit. The formulation and recipe support, that is natively built as part of the product. So that's a huge strength for the SysPro product. And limitations that you are going to run into from SysPro perspective is those complex processes from the plastic perspective are not going to be as detailed as you're going to find with slightly more plastic-centric products. And it's not as well adopted among plastic extrusion companies. And then you are also going to have very limited global consolidation capabilities. So if you are very global companies present in many different countries and you care for that operational supply chain synergies collaboration, then SysPro might not be the best fit. So that's number 9. Number 8 on our list is QAD. And QAD is ideal for very commoditized products that are going to be very heavy in your supply chain. The strengths that you're looking at from the QAD perspective is the supply chain suite as well as ERP is part of the same solution. And now that is going to be a challenge with a lot of different products because they are going to combine, let's say, maybe the PLM, maybe CAD, they are going to have ERP, but all of those supply chain components, when you look at WMS, TMS, as well as the SNOP component, and that is going to be relevant just because the majority of the plastic extrusion companies, they are going to have very commoditized products in general. So they care for that supply chain planning. And now the WMS and TMS is going to be very handy as well, just because these guys are going to have very busy and involved warehouses. So you would require those capabilities and the tight correlation of those processes between your WMS, TMS, ERP, PLM, CAD, etc. And that's when your QAD is going to be a great fit because you are getting everything from one vendor as part of one solution, as opposed to getting a lot of different solutions and then trying to figure out, okay, how they are going to work together. So that is a huge strength for QAD. The process as well as discrete, both of those are going to be as part of QAD, just like your SysPro, it is natively built as part of the solution as well. And then if you're looking for the global operational synergies, QAD is localized in many different countries. It has consulting base in many different countries. So if you care for that, then QAD could be a great fit. The limitations that you're looking at from QAD's perspective is a technology that they have announced that they are migrating their product on the cloud native technology, but it might not be stable for the next few years, and all of the modules might not be migrated to new technology. So you need to vet more in terms of what has been migrated and how that change is going to be. From your perspective, what you are going to get in the cloud native version, it might take few years before the cloud version is completely rolled out. The ecosystem is not just as with any prescriptive products. The ecosystem consulting base is not going to be as much as you are going to find with other generalized products. So that's going to be a challenge with QAD. And again, it's not as well adopted among plastic extrusion companies than some of the other products that we have on this list. So that's number 8. Number 7 on our list is Oracle Cloud ERP. And compared to the other products that we have reviewed so far, for example, QAD, SysPro, etc., they are much smaller products. In general, companies, when they outgrow those products, that's when your Oracle Cloud ERP is going to be a better fit. Generally, these companies are going to be very publicly traded. They are going to have a lot of different business models that they are trying to accommodate as part of one solution. They care for that end-to-end global financial traceability, sometimes your operational and supply chain traceability as well. So depending upon what they are trying to consolidate and how much traceability that they care for, Oracle Cloud ERP is going to be a very large product that only the large companies are going to find The strengths that we are looking at from Oracle Cloud ERP perspective is the diversity of the solution to be able to support many different business models, but that is going to be a con as well, because then you are not going to have very tailored capabilities or the suite capabilities, specific industry capabilities as part of the solution. And that's what is going to make your implementation slightly more expensive. Now, the depth of ERP layers are going to be far more in terms of the moldability to be able to support many different business transactions, but that also increases the cost from the implementation perspective, because your implementation is going to be far longer to be able to test all of those processes, to be able to configure, to be able to align with your industries, which are going to be flavored with other prescriptive solutions. The global financial consolidation as well as localization is going to be handy. So some of the other products, they might not even be present in countries such as your or geographies, South America, Europe. Those are the trickiest ones, just because they are going to have very small market share. So most of the companies, they might not even be present there just because they are going to have fewer customers. But the R&D cost to build that localization is going to be much higher. And in those cases, the generalized products are going to be slightly better fit. The limitations that you're looking at from the Oracle Cloud ERP perspective is the plastic-centric suite capabilities. They are not going to be as natively built. They are not going to be as natively supported coming from the same vendor. So that's the issue that you're going to run into this one. And then your implementation is probably going to be slightly more expensive. And again, it's not as well adopted among SMB plastic extrusion companies. When you look at the large companies, they might use Oracle Cloud ERP just because they care for that financial layer far more than operational layer. That's why they might use Oracle Cloud ERP. But for the most part, if they are looking for operational consolidation in one solution, then it might not be the best fit. So that's number 7. Number 6 on our list is SAP S/4HANA. SAP S/4HANA is a very similar product as your Oracle Cloud ERP. In general, SAP S/4HANA is going to have far more logos in the product-centric industries. The HANA database is slightly superior fit overall for that transactional integrity or transactional business models. When you are going to be looking at product-centric companies, you require that, especially if you are looking for your end-to-end supply chain collaboration globally in many different countries. You are trying to consolidate all of your MRP workflows. Your products are going to be very tightly correlated. And let's say if you have serial number, etc., generally that increases the overarching workload for your system. And that's when your SAP S/4HANA is probably going to be a better fit. The other strengths are very similar to your Oracle Cloud ERP. The limitations that you're looking at from SAP S/4HANA perspective is, again, they are very similar to your Oracle Cloud ERP, as you are going to find with most generalized products that we have on this list. So that's number 6. Number 5 on our list is Epicor Kinetic. Epicor Kinetic is going to be a better fit for plastic companies that are going to be slightly more discrete in nature than your process. In general, the plastic extrusion companies have a very hybrid business model. Epicor Kinetic is also going to be a better fit when these companies are going to be slightly more on the manufacturing plus distribution business model. In general, a lot of plastic companies are going to have very heavy presence in e-commerce. If you have that, then you are going to require that distribution planning and a lot of manufacturing focused products. For example, let's say if you look at QAD or your IQMS, those products are not going to be as great with your distribution planning. And that's where your Epicor Kinetic really shines. The other strengths that you're looking at from the Epicor Kinetic perspective is the inventory is very complex, and that helps in your plastic-centric industries. In general, their inventory is going to be very complex, and typically that is going to flow through your end-to-end processes, whether you look at just from the reporting perspective or also from the scheduling perspective. You are probably going to require that. The suite capabilities are not going to be as strong from the suite perspective. The suite is not going to be as tailored for your plastic extrusion companies, and it is not as well adopted among plastic companies as the other products that we have on this list. So that's number 5. Number 4 on our list is Aptean Process Manufacturing ERP. And Aptean Process Manufacturing ERP is ideal for smaller companies that are very limited on budget, and they are looking for the complete suite built, pre-baked, coming from the same vendor so that you don't have as much implementation risk. The implementation is going to be easier in general. Overall, in terms of the size of the product is going to be smaller than some of the other products. For example, let's say if you compare this with Acumatica or Epicor Kinetic, this is going to be slightly smaller in size. The number of layers that you are going to find from the ERP perspective are not going to be as detailed as you will find with slightly bigger products. So overall, in terms of the spectrum, let's say if you want to compare the size, then you are looking at number one, Odoo, and then Acumatica, and then probably Aptine. Process manufacturing is probably going to be somewhere in between. And then finally, you are going to have something like Infor CSI, Epicor Kinetic. That is probably the size in terms of the spectrum, in terms of where and which systems you might be outgrowing. But again, this is going to be for companies that are going to be limited on budget. The strengths that you are going to have with this product are going to be very similar as with your other prescriptive products, but in general, the adoption is far more of your Aptine process manufacturing product. And in their case, they have many different additions. For example, they have ROS and Process Pro, and these are very different products. They are not part of the PCM database. So their strategy is very similar to your Infor, where each of the product is positioned as the cloud suite in the specific industries. So that's the approach that Aptine is taking, even though they are calling addition just similar to your Acumatica. But for Acumatica, they are going to be, all of these business models are going to be hosted in the same database, same product. That is not the case with your Aptine. So Aptine's strategy is very similar to your Infor, where each of the product tailored for specific industries are going to be hosted in their own databases. So if you are going to have very hybrid business models, that's where you are going to run into challenges, because if you have very prescriptive business model, it might work great. But if you are acquiring either more capabilities, or you are growing your business model, then you might outgrow this. The limitations are going to be very similar to your other prescriptive products. That is going to be your expensive with partial implementation. So if you're getting the complete suite, great. But if not, then you might not find as many pre-baked integrations. Those products might not be supported, but then it is also going to create a little bit of change management problem. So if you can convince your entire company, and generally that is possible in smaller companies where the company is going to be very owner, founder controlled, they might be able to do this. But if you're going to be very large, that becomes a challenge in convincing all of the departments to move to just one solution, then utilizing the tools of their choice. So that is the challenge that you're looking at. And again, it's not as diverse overall from the business model perspective, and it's not as well adopted among plastic-centric companies that you are going to find with the other solutions on this list. So that's number 4. Number 3 on our list is Infor Cloud Suite M3. And if you compare Aptine Process Manufacturing ERP with your Infor Cloud Suite M3, Infor Cloud Suite M3 is much bigger product in its size. It is designed for global companies that might be looking for that global supply chain operational synergies, collaboration, consolidation. That's when your Infor Cloud Suite M3 is going to be a better fit. Generally, this is going to be applicable for companies when they might outgrow Aptine process manufacturing, but they are looking for very similar capabilities. They are still limited on budget, and their business model is very fixed. They don't foresee that their business model is going to grow. Then your Infor Cloud Suite M3 might be a great fit, because you are going to get all of these capabilities from the same vendor as part of the suite. Your implementation is going to be cheaper in general. So other strengths are going to be very similar to your Aptine. The inventory is going to be very complex. One of the advantages that you have with Infor Cloud Suite M3. So if you are going to be very retail-centric business, distribution-centric business, in those cases as well, Infor Cloud Suite M3 could be a great fit. The limitations that you are going to run into with Infor Cloud Suite M3 are going to be, again, very similar to your prescriptive products. That is going to be the diversity of the product. If you're trying to support many different business models, there could be a challenge with this particular product. Also, it is not suitable for your SME companies that are going to be below $250 million in revenue, and the ecosystem consulting base is not going to be as much as some of the other generalized products. So that's number 3. Now, number 2 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O. In general, F&O product is a very generalized product. It is designed for companies that have many different business models, and they are looking for that global presence. They are trying to host all of those entities as part of one solution. They care for end-to-end traceability, whether for financial perspective as well as from the operational perspective. Now, because of that, you are not going to get those tailored capabilities for specific industries. For that, you have to rely on the partner ecosystem, the vendors. So F&O is going to have a lot of different companies that have solutions that are going to be as well adopted as the core ERP. So that's a huge plus for F&O product. The number biggest strength from F&O perspective is the localization is going to be across the globe. The consulting base is going to be present across the globe. The ecosystem is going to be very rich as well. The recipe and the formulation that is supported natively. So that's going to be a huge plus. At least you are not hijacking the core processes, the core data model from your core product. You are simply utilizing the add-ons for the other processes that are going to build on the core inventory layer, core formulation layer that is hosted within the product itself. So that's going to be a huge strength. The number 3 limitations that you're looking at from the F&O perspective is the last mile plastic extrusion capabilities, as well as the pre-integrated suite. And you have to rely on third-party vendors. So because of that, the implementation is going to be far more expensive, risky. You have to deal with so many different legal contracts. Sometimes they might not talk to each other very well. The components might not be as well adopted, etc. So those are some of the challenges. And then for that, you would require far more internal IT maturity to be able to vet these issues, to be able to create a design and architecture that is going to work for you. But again, F&O is a great product, generalized product. If your business model might be evolving and you need slightly more generalized product to be able to host all of those global entities as part of one solution. So that's number 2. Number 1 on our list is Dalmia Works or IQMS. The reason why it is number 1 on our list is because it is go-to solution for SMB plastic extrusion companies. It is the most adopted product among plastic extrusion companies, even as of today, even if they are going to be on the legacy technology, legacy version, but they appreciate that just because they are going to have those plastic-centric processes flavored as part of the solution, the scheduling, the inventory, the supply chain planning, all of that is going to feel very natural as part of the product. That's why it is so highly appreciated among plastic extrusion companies. And then the other strength that we are looking from Dalmia Works perspective are going to be the whole suite capabilities that is going to be pre-integrated, pre-baked, coming from the same vendor. The limitations that you're looking at from the IQMS perspective is the technology is very legacy. And if you're looking for slightly more partial implementation where you are trying to integrate your own tools, you might run into challenges. Your implementation might become far more expensive. You might not have as many pre-baked integrations in the community just because your community ecosystem is going to be not as rich as your generalized product. So those are some of the limitations. So that's number 1. If you enjoyed this video, we publish these videos on a weekly basis. So like and subscribe on YouTube. This podcast is also available on Spotify and Apple. So you might want to check there and subscribe. And we are also going to include a detailed article that is going to have much deeper intel. So you might want to check that. Also, if you have not checked our digital transformation report for 2024, we publish this report annually, update them, include a lot of different lists as well as insight to be successful with your digital transformation journey. So check that out. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.